Oh, there we go. Uh-oh, looks like I've got two open. Let me make sure I get rid of one of them. Get rid of this one. Signal good. Broadcast alert good. Live chat. Hey, hello. Can you hear me? Just checking to see if you can hear and see me. I'm pretty new at setting this stuff up, so I'm hoping I've got it working right. Can you hear me? All right, great. Well, welcome. I'm actually scheduled for a 9:30. I've just sent an invite to my today's guest, and I'm trying to make sure I got everything working right. So I'm pretty new to this, and I'm already made some mistakes. So I'm hoping I'm going to get it right. Working now. I've sent a request for an invite for the person I'm scheduled to have a chat with today. So I'm going to send him another invite just to make sure he got it. All right, let me paste that in there right now. I'm sending them. No invite has been sent. I'm trying to anyway. I keep hitting the wrong thing. So I clearly don't know what I'm doing, but that's okay. There we go. Invite. Let's see here. I'm going to send it again. All right. I sent him the invite. I'm supposed to have a 9:30 today with Gadd The Impaler. So I'm hoping. Oh, good. Bear with me. Apologize. So in the meanwhile, you're waiting. If you want, feel free to ask a question or new Okay, there we go. Finally back up on there again. I have to send the invite again because we're having issues. All right, this works. I apologize for all the. You're still with me. 6 are watching. That's great. I don't know why it took me. So I apologize for that. It's being incredibly slow. My guess is my internet. Peak. Okay, where we go. Back on. Okay. Oh, good. You guys can see me again, right? Sorry about that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Sorry about that. Dude, you have the best Captain America mask I think I've ever freaking seen. I got to tell you. It is beautiful. Well, every time I see it, man, my heart just skips a beat. It is a thing. It is a work of art. It is beautiful, and I want one so bad. I would seriously wear something like that in public.
Well, I am actually working on a video that will have a hey, Rat Bike is there. Speaking of, you mentioned that in public, in our messages there is a Rat Bike Customs. I'm going to be doing a video with Rat Bike Customs, a special video, and he's going to be bringing what he's called the Bat Bike, and the Bat Bike is more than just a bicycle. It's a hot rodded motorcycle type of bicycle. And he's going to be building me a cat bike. So I don't know, maybe we'll do a video series on that.
Man, that would be cool. That would be cool. Oh, wow.
So you're gonna probably see Captain Frugal here riding a bicycle, a custom made bicycle at probably like 60 miles an hour.
Oh, dude, that would be beautiful. That would be absolutely beautiful. It's like, yeah, that's neat. That's neat. The only thing cooler would be like if you rode like a Batmobile Power Wheels around. That would be.
Oh, there we go.
Something like
I'm sure he could do that.
You know.
Hey, Rat Bike, if you're still there, you could do that, right? Oh, yep. See, look at he's responded there. I know he has the ability to do that.
Oh yeah.
For everybody watching, I do want to apologize that it cut out for some reason. The internet just popped out or something. I lost the feed and had to jump back in. So before we get started, I want to introduce my guest here because I was a jerk and didn't do that at all. So
it's all right.
My bad. There, you go by Gadd The Impaler on Twitter, correct?
Yes, sir. That's me. I just changed it again. I keep changing my silly username so much. It was a little less noodly than my last one. I was going by Kasha Varnichkas for the longest time, and I just got tired of that. Nobody got the joke. It's too much of an obscure Yiddish food, so I decided Gadd The Impaler would be better. So here I am. So a little bit about me. I'm a computer programmer, and I've been working in the field for 20 years. I work with statistics, AIs, stuff like that. And, you know, I know a convoluted plan when I see one. Yeah, so like I do a lot of these, how would you even describe them? They're like social media campaigns, but they're weird social media campaigns, I guess you can say. I give people advice on how to play sort of fourth dimensional chess on the internet. And that's sort of what I kind of see going on with the Marvel situation, which is what we were talking about earlier.
Right. You know, before we get in there, I actually no, I don't have it on the computer side. I'm somewhat decent with computers, though I will say the live chat is not showing that at all.
Oh, bummer.
Normally, I'm pretty good. I've done a lot of statistical analysis work as well. So not with computers, but with businesses and things like that, analyzing market trends and things like that too. Some individual consulting as well as teaching and publishing as well as that. So, before we get too in depth, I just want to do a very quick shout out to some of the Frugal fans here that have the Frugal Force here that have been absolutely excellent. The Frugal Force is growing daily, and the people in it are just amazing. Jason, and his Twitter is at KingHyperion89, sent me a picture, and he's got more. He said he's going to be sending me as well, so I look forward to seeing that. At Switchpoint, which is Switchpoint on Twitter, he's also sent me some great fan art. HP Wells Craft at A Thron X gave me a tip in the VidMe tip jar, so a $5 tip, and that was awesome. And a Fat Panther in his Twitter is at hashpunk20 made me intros for both my video game intros and my comic book intros. So if you see one of my current intros, because I already had it made, I just haven't published it yet, but any of the new ones are going to have those intros, and he did a fantastic job on it.
Very cool. So, yeah. It's hard to find good intros.
Oh, we got Conservative Nerd up here too. Hey, what's up? Excellent.
Cool.
I gotta have a chat with him sometime as well. All right, so we were talking earlier, and my guest here has a very interesting theory about Marvel and their current practices, because he just feels that it can't possibly be this suicidal and bad without some kind of reasoning behind it. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds about right, actually. And all right, so here's what I think, and this is the truth. And man, people always, you know, are shocked when I say it, but I think someone at Marvel is among the most fantastically intelligent people ever to work in the business. If that's Tom Brevoort or if that's Axel Alonso, man, my hands go off to them. My hat goes off to them. But yeah, they've got somebody who is absolutely freaking brilliant. So, like, where do you start? So, there's a bunch of problems that Marvel's trying to solve. Excuse me. And one of them is, well, you know, the fans are sort of aging. You know, they're getting older, and you know, at the same time, you know, women are doing really well on digital. So the question really remains, you know, as digital grows, how do you attract newer fans, but at the same time get those people back who aren't reading comics anymore? And I'd say conservatively, there's probably about 100,000 of us out there, something around that. I also think that they're very, very intrigued by the rise of what would you call it, the alternative media. I think they've been watching it closely from the beginning. Oddly enough, I think they've been watching, you know, The Amazing Atheist, Alex Jones, you know, all the anti-feminists, and they looked at it. I seriously think they did. I think they actually put in the time and studied these guys and their eyeballs, and they said to themselves, well, dude, how do I get that kind of engagement? You know what I mean? So I think what they did at that point was they formulated a plan where they would take and the plan works like this. What you do is you take a short-term hit in sales to get people angry, to get people motivated, and then ultimately to bring them back. So how do you do that? Oh, and at the same time, they also want to attract the 20-something female demographic. So that's a tall order. You know, there's a lot to that. So what you do is you start with, what is the one technique that works every time you're trying to get a girl in bed? How do you, what is the one thing you can say to attract a woman that will work every time?
I just go with the naked man.
Oh, well, that works too.
Kidding, just kidding.
But beyond that, what you do is if you can get her attention, what you tell her is, hey man, that bitch over there, nowhere near as hot as you are. And that works. That works.
I've been out of the game a long time.
Right on. Yeah, me too. Me too. But you know, that's what does it. So what you do is you intentionally go after that, and you say, man, those older fans, they aren't as cool as you. We're so cool. We're so up and coming. we're not really interested in them anymore. We want to take you to nice places. We want to tell you cool stories, and that's what they're doing. So
sure. And so you think they're playing the game of hard to get, we're a jerk, to try to entice people to check it out, get attention, and bring them in. Okay.
And it totally works. I mean, what people are saying about digital sales is that this demographic is being wooed by that. But at the same time, you run into this other thing. What's the number one rule of? Oh yeah. So you switch to the dudes here, right? And their audience, there's a lot of guys out there, tens of hundreds of thousands of us who are probably, late 30s, early 40s, early 50s, who have a lot of emotional investment in comic books, in stories, in superheroes. And those people, no matter how old they are, don't go away. My dad is 65 years old, right? He went to Comic-Con because, he was a Spider-Man fan, in the 1960s and 70s. And he got back and he called me up and he said, dude, I can't believe what Marvel's doing. And that just blew my mind. And I was like, well, yeah, Dad, I told you so, And he's like, well, how can they do this to something I've loved? And I could tell that he was angry, just like you're angry, just like I'm angry, just like Captain Frugal or Captain Cummings and Diversity in Comics are angry. And that doesn't happen by accident. When Marvel was a publicly traded corporation, they did not have the luxury to behave this way. They could not do it. But it seems to me that the reason why they are doing it is because it's part of a long-term plan. People are always talking about social media guidelines. Why don't they have any social media guidelines to be nice to people is something everybody in the community is saying. But they do have social media guidelines. And those guidelines, right now anyway, are telling people like Dan Slott and Nick Spencer to go out and just agitate it. Agitate that pot. If someone comes to you and says, I am an old fan, I think the direction of Spider-Man right now with Zdarsky and all that, I think it sucks. I think you guys are idiots. Well, what do? You tell them, well, fuck you. Because what that's going to do, what that's aiming to accomplish is get them engaged. It's sort of like a reverse customer service, right? An angry fan is an engaged fan, and the reason they're doing it is to get people who are emotionally invested reading again.
Well, I can tell you, I know people like Dan Slott are good at aggravating, and Nick Spencer absolutely, and that's the case, man. They're doing a good job at it.
Oh yeah.
So
what they do is they get people angry, and then what they're going to do is they're going to throw us a bone. When they have whatever number of eyeballs they want, whatever percentage of diversity in comics or your audience or Kevin Cummings' audience that they feel are actively coming at them, that are really upset, that are right there buying as many Marvel books as they can, they're going to throw us a bone. I personally think that number's right around somewhere in the area of 50,000 active users, and they're very, very close. I think the community is going to be there probably around Christmas. So what they're going to do is they're going to give us reconciliation of some kind. So they're going to tone down the SJW stuff to try to keep that first audience, while at the same time giving us more of what we've been complaining we're not getting.
I hope you're right, and I really do, because the current direction's rough.
It is.
So I definitely hope you're right on that one. Now, Conservative Nerd brought up a great point in the chat. He said he totally agrees that women read more than men, and women, from I think what he put it means they shop and things more with their phones. So digital definitely probably women market could be huge if they actually would get it right. And especially using digital means. And I don't disagree with that. I think he's absolutely right. But they failed at capturing the female market. I don't know if they
totally have.
Pandering too hard. Can't write women right. I mean, I know when I read it, I don't like what I see. It's like, well, this is terrible in most cases. So
Well, I think there's a universal truth out there about women and girls especially, and that is bronies. Follow me on this. The bronies are 40-year-old men that are obsessed with My Little Pony. If you follow them, you will see that they are talking about this stuff nonstop. So the question is, why? Why would a 40-year-old man be interested in the same thing that in a product that's designed for 11-year-old girls, right? It's absurd. But if you look at history, man, it's always been that way. Look at the classic runs of the X-Men we're talking about in the 1980s. Look at certain eras of Amazing Spider-Man or the Peter David Incredible Hulk, right? You had action, you had adventure, you had romance, all that stuff that appeals to young women, and at the same time, 40-year-old men. So my thesis is that 40-year-old men like the same stuff that little girls do, and if you write for those two groups at the same time, dude, you've got the whole market tied up right there.
Exactly, and it's possible to do. And by the way, I just want to let everybody know I Love Comics just hopped in. Welcome.
Yay, Eglantine. I love him so much.
Howdy. And yet you leave me off the list when you're talking about people who talk about this stuff. Thank you, though.
Rabbi Customs mentioned at his house, by the way, it's Wonder Woman and Spider-Man are the big things with the girls right now. Jake, the trench coat put, he made a great point that women love Thor and Loki. And, I agree from classes I've taught in the past and things that the females, I always hear talk about Thor, and stuff like that. So there's that element too. It's not just guys who go into ladies in the Loki is. Yeah.
My kids go for Zatanna.
I can see why.
Right on.
And they dig Zatanna. She even likes the bombshells just for Zatanna. It's all over the place like that.
I haven't read the bombshells yet. I'm going to. It's on Hoopla Digital, so I'm going to get to read it for free. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, that's nice. I spent 99 cents for the last 100 weeks. So, but yeah, they were pretty. They're actually not bad. Or I wouldn't have. Well, I guess I would have for the reviews, but yeah. But no, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. The Garage Days, the one that just started, was all right. I'm hoping it stays on track. Yeah, I hope it doesn't go full. We're all hoping that DC doesn't fall into the DC or the SJW trap, but.
Yeah, with the recent hiring, I tend to wonder.
Oh my gosh. I stay on these tweets, of course, because, they are subject fodder for videos. But this woman is so far gone. I don't know if I can continue. It's just, I don't want to read this. The hate that pours off of them.
Wasn't she the one who wanted to take a baseball bat to your baseball bat?
Yeah.
yeah, that's the one. That's a Magdalene something or other.
Yeah, she goes something bags. She did a really piss poor apology, which is right after she got the DC gig. Some boss said, "Hey, you got to knock this crap off."
Yeah. Want to work here? You can't say you want to hit people with a ball bat. Like, it goes away. It's Twitter. It's always there. I don't know. But Gabby Rivera is also like that. She is very much, if you are not gay or Puerto Rican, she does not like you.
Yeah, she's very harsh to people online, that's for sure. And you know what? Yeah. I contacted her through Twitter and things, and I asked her legit questions very calmly without any snark, and she just ignores them. So what she does is she picks and chooses what to respond to based on what's going to be triggering and getting negative. I think get that shock value attraction, which goes back to, as you were mentioning earlier, using the negative publicity.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Nikki Spence is very good about doing that. Like if he'll send some tweets and he'll say something like, everybody who doesn't like Secret Empire sucks. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. And if somebody pops up and says, well, it's not that I think it sucks because Captain America is black in your book. it's because it's got bad writing. You wrote a Deus Ex Machina ending. There is no hero's journey in this book, because it's like the whole big speech was, everybody looks at us poorly. We need to get our rep back in check. And now we're going to go fight, not for any brave ideals, but so people don't think that we're bad guys anymore. That was the big speech. And then they rush out and find a guy who puked up a cosmic cube. There was no hero's journey in this whole story.
Right.
If you point that out, he deletes your tweet, retweets responding to you. I know this because he's done that to me more than a couple of times.
Right. I'm going to defend Spencer a little bit there. I can't believe it. That's a Nick Spencer writing style. If you go back and see what he did, for example, in the Superior Foes of Spider-Man, he likes to do that kind of thing where he brings it full circle. Surprise, this was like this. But part of the problem is this is such a long story and a long period of time. People don't want to sit through that. I think this would have been an okay story if it was like 3 or 4 issues. But no, it's over a year long. And this is somebody's first issue.
Barf would have worked if he was the character we were following.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know how to do my powers so I can get this thing. Then, okay, there would have been a journey.
Right.
Followed everybody but him. That's why he's still, even though they showed him in a couple of panels in the first issue, he's still a Deus Ex Machina because he had nothing to do with the rest of the story.
Right, and he would do that before, but he'd only do it over a span of like 1 or 2, maybe 3 issues tops. And this is a longer period of time, and it loses the reader, and they're not going to remember that from 8 issues or and all this other stuff ago. And on top of that, as I said, this is somebody's first time. In my opinion, I'm old school. Every book is somebody's first. They have to have at least a clue of what's going on. If that was your first book, that would have been so ridiculous to you. You would have had no clue of knowing that.
Yeah, but we said the same thing when Ultimate Spider-Man came out. You remember? Like, everybody was like, oh man, this is ridiculous. All the little details there, this, that, and the other, and it's so slow. People hate waiting for it. But then when you read it in trade paperback, it's actually not bad.
Well, I actually liked Ultimate.
That was when they started writing for the trades. By that time, because I think it was actually, I would have to go back to Grant Morrison's JLA run. But by the time Ultimates came in, they were literally writing for the trades. So instead of just writing individual issues that could fit into a 6-issue book, by Ultimates, they literally, they were just writing a first part, a second part, a third part.
Yeah, I think Bendis did that right from the start when he started with Avengers as well. Every one of those was written for the trade. Long-winded, very drawn-out stories. And some of them were good, don't get me wrong. It's just everything was a very slow, decompressed pace.
Right.
Yeah. And now though, you're used to it. So, okay, well, this is the character issue and this is the action. I can see this, it's a little different. But back then it was, when you come off of what you were used to, it really did just feel like a crawl. Just get to it. Okay, already,
And Conservative Nerd brought up another point, too. He said Spencer has a lot of trouble with endings because he doesn't care about story, just politics. And that's a conflict I have because I truly think Spencer is a good writer. I really do. Technically, he's a very good writer. It's just now he's let his politics get in the way of his story, so it's about his politics. And then, like, you have those issues, like you said, the story isn't making sense. We have Deus Ex Machinas and things there that didn't need to be like that. That could have been written better. But he's got to get that political point. Pardon?
Because Spencer's really getting it from all sides. I mean, on the one hand, he's getting it from us, but on the other hand, he's also getting it from the liberal fringe. So on the one hand, we're telling him, hey, this is SJW propaganda. It's horrible. It's evil. It sucks. And then the liberals are saying, why are you promoting Nazis like this? These are Nazis. This is Nazi propaganda. So I wonder if the truth
is he really getting it that much from the liberal fringe?
Bias is somewhere in the middle. What?
Huh.
I haven't seen those tweets. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, I'd like to see it too. I haven't seen it, so I'm not saying, because I don't follow him a whole lot, so I don't know. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm not challenging anyway. I'd love to see those.
He was just complaining about it the other day.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I can't.
The last
I
couple
can't.
of days I've been away a lot. So, if anybody's been following my Twitter and Rat Bike, don't get freaked out. Little Frugal had some issues, so he's going to be all right.
Okay, good.
He not to get disgusting, but he's had bowel issues, and when he went, some of his insides popped out. Not to get too disgusting.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna make me sick.
Yeah, we had to put him back in.
And having something similar going on.
Yeah, and he didn't tear an inside as far as I know or anything. So it's just he's being watched a lot of not solid foods and stuff, and he's gonna have to get checked up a bit to make sure he's okay. So
yeah,
well,
so yeah, didn't mean to disgust you. But yeah, I haven't been around as much. I've been spending more time with dealing with that and lots of work. Work has been crazy lately. So,
I hear you.
Yeah. Sorry about the too much info, Night Wolf.
It is all good.
So that's what's been going on there. But so yeah, I missed those tweets. I'm gonna have to definitely go back and look on that. Now, Jake the Trenchcoat said he believes that the whole politics thing started with House of M and cemented in with Civil War. Yeah, definitely Civil War was like a sledgehammer with politics at that point.
Yeah, it depends on what you want to talk. Like, if you're talking about just politics, they've always been there. But if you're talking about the ham-fisted, shove it down your throat politics, that's a more recent story. Because Chris Claremont was big on stuffing it. But as I've pointed out, and I've said in other videos, and I'm going to mention that because I'm such a whore, I push my own stuff on other people's channels. But,
by all means.
I've said many times that the difference between you have two characters talking, and they're talking to each other, and they mention the politics, and you as the reader have your own mind to make up about whether you're going to accept the politics. Maybe you don't even recognize the politics in it. While today, it's more like, this is what we're talking about, and gosh darn it, if you don't agree with us, you are so freaking wrong. See this guy right here? You are him. You know,
okay.
They really do shove it down your throat.
You know, and speaking about that, then Gadd The Impaler, as we were saying, thinks that actually might be a marketing tactic. They're doing that to piss people off on purpose. What do you think, Angleton?
Yeah, there is. I like his idea about you get enough eyeballs looking and then they throw you a bone. I mean, there are, if he's talking about, you know, there is a bit of a skeleton out there of good comics right now. If you're looking at like Daredevil and Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is
here having a hard time understanding Angleton. Is he breaking up for you too?
Yeah, he's a little static.
How about now? Is that better?
Ah, darn! I hate tech issues. Sorry, Angleton.
Is that
better? Try again. A little bit more.
Is it better now?
Still there?
A little bit.
Yeah, you're breaking up a lot.
Yep.
Some people saying you sound like you're on the Borg. You remember the Borg there.
That is weird because I didn't do anything. Okay, but
it might
yeah,
fix itself. You might want to try to hop out and rejoin. Maybe that'll work better. I don't know because you're really hard to understand.
Okay, what about now?
You're still sounding a little rough.
Okay.
Sorry. There he goes. Well, he's doing pardon?
I said, this isn't like my family where they sent me out for groceries, and then when I came back, everybody was gone and the locks were changed. Right?
Yeah, it's still sounding pretty rough right now.
Well, thanks for laughing, guys.
It could be his connection.
Yeah, that could be. Maybe it'll pick up and get a little better. But, you know, you had a point, too, and I agree, especially Marvel. They've always been political, but they did it with finesse, like Claremont did and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. One thing I said to little Nicky, as a matter of fact, was the fact he kept pointing out, oh, well, politics is here. But I told him, you're not helping your case by showing us when politics were done better in comic books.
Right. He definitely isn't.
You suck at this.
Right. He was very adamant about how it was always done. You're right. And every time he gave an example, it's like, yeah, it was done better than you're doing now. I mean,
Yep.
they just had ways of doing it. And I think all of us can handle a little bit that we're adverse to without a problem. You know, it doesn't bug us too much. It's like, oh, okay, they hit us a little bit, they smacked us, okay, big deal. But when it's consistent, it's like, I'm not going to read something that's constantly telling me how stupid I am. You know? No, thank you.
One thing I would like to see happen is diversity in comics. Captain Cummings, you, me, everybody stop using the word diversity. We're not against diversity. We're using their language.
You got a point. We absolutely are. We're playing their game.
Yeah, I heard people on our side use their language. And if we say, well, you know, diverse characters are, no, don't say that, because we're not against the diverse characters. If Ms. Marvel came along and she was called something else, nobody would care.
Exactly. It's not against diversity at all. Matter of fact, I tend to have a long history of it. I mean, you know, Heroes for Hire, great example, right? Very diverse cast throughout the years and things like that. I love that stuff.
Any one of those. There was something, those Drunken Idiot.
Oh, yeah.
They put up a picture of Bombshell, DC.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. You're cutting out pretty bad.
They put up a picture of a character called Bombshell from DC.
Mm-hmm.
And she is basically a female young Captain Atom. And I made the point, yeah, and she's not called Captain Atom, and everybody thinks she's cool. That's all that's necessary is, you know, make a cool character.
Okay. Speaking of characters, Fallen Angel 2100 said Vision isn't getting attention. They're pushing his inventably gay robot daughter. Is his robot daughter gay?
I do not know that part.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'll ask him. Is he named after the Fallen Angel by Peter David, or is he named after the Fallen Angels, the old X-Men title from the 1980s?
Ah, good question. Can you answer that in the comment?
My guess is he probably didn't even know there was a Fallen Angels in the 1980s. They had a mutant in a wheelchair in that one. I remember that actually.
Conservative Nerd said that from Conservative Nerd, he said, "I love Dust from Morrison's X-Men. She was Muslim and they ditched her." Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. It's just like you said, Engeltein, that it's nothing against diversity at all. Matter of fact, I think we tend to like diverse characters. It's just when they're written absolutely horrible, we hate them. You know?
Yeah, but the thing is, we're using their language. So if we don't say, if we use the word, oh, well, we're against the diverse character. No, we're against the politics that are being shoved down, and we're against the fact that they are replacing the classic characters.
Yes. That hurts, you know, especially with this legacy. It's like those issues all had to show how much the new character is better than the old character. You know, like, you know, Wolverine's the best at what he does, except for when X-23 is around and it's going to school him. I like X-23.
Before he sort of oogles over her. You know, like,
oh my gosh, before
so great and majestic.
Yeah. I was doing my Generations, and I decided to go a very silly route with it, and I was making fun of the fact that he does that. I was the best at what I do, but now I see her. Oh my gosh, she's so good. I want that. Look at that. Wait. She smells like me.
1995 said.
Yeah.
Electric 1995 said, I think it's best we change our language from diverse to token. Do you agree?
Yeah, that would be very close because that's what they're doing.
Yeah. You know, I tend to agree too. It's because they're being tokens. They're being written because of that one aspect of them rather than a true full character.
Well, if you want to get a liberal mad at you, and I apologize to my brother on that one, claim that all they really did was put Captain America in blackface. Because Falcon is his own man.
Yeah.
They have to get a white man's character and put blackface on him in order for them to feel like they're doing something good.
Though I do say I think Sam Wilson is a logical step to take up that mantle. I really do.
But
the writing has been horrid.
If it wasn't for the Marvel movies, I would say yes, you're right. But right now, the Falcon, being his own character, is more popular than he has ever been. and can actually sail on his own identity. Yet they still take it away from him.
I liked, another character, Cho. I liked Amadeus Cho before they made him Totally Awesome Hulk. When they made him Totally Awesome Hulk, they changed his character too. He's all of a sudden everything is dude and this kind of crap. It's like, that doesn't fit him.
I hate that character. I of all of them, I think he's the worst.
Well, I liked him when he was Cho, especially when he was palling around with Hercules. That was great. But ever since he became Totally Awesome Hulk, it's like, they lost what made him great. And by the way, Fallen Angel 2100 responded. He said, to answer the gay Vision daughter question, she made out with Cho Hulk, and she said she felt nothing, and perhaps she'll try it with a female. Okay, so big lesbian push there.
She's an android.
Yeah. Well.
She can be programmed to feel whatever the hell her programming feels like.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. I don't know. I guess synthetic or what, I don't know. It's comic books. Comic books is weird.
Yeah. Jake the Trenchcoat put Anthony Mackie as Falcon was a revelation. And I agree with you 100%. Why not capitalize on, I agree with you 100% on this. Why not capitalize on Sam Wilson being Falcon and not Captain America? I've said that for about the past year. The movies, I've always liked Falcon, and people are like, Falcon sucks. But the movie did him even better. I mean, the movie made him great. Yep. It's like, he's cool. And then when they could have launched a Falcon comic book with the military aspects, spy stuff, and all that, made it great. And what did I do? Nope, you're going to be Captain America now.
Yep.
That would have been a great comic book, though. A Falcon book.
And I mean, they say that movie readers don't transfer to the comic books. But I don't 100% believe that. I think if they were able to see one on a store shelf in a grocery store or something, go, hey, that character was cool, they'd probably give it a shot.
That means they're putting it back in grocery stores. They don't sell them in newsstands and grocery stores anymore. It's all this specialized thing, and I think that really hurts the industry.
I agree, because it reduces the amount of people to just pull it up. But they are doing the ones like the Archie Digest. They're going to be doing something like that with older issues.
They already have. I've seen them in the stores. Yeah. The first issue, as a matter of fact, is in the store.
Going to say something?
I was thinking, and then I thought, wow, this would make a good for a video. So, hey, it's a race after I say this out loud to anybody out there. But comic books have always had a problem with advertising. They only advertise to us, and we're already sold. You don't have to convince us to go out and buy the new whatever. We're going to check it out. But they're advertising to us, but there's no TV advertising. There's no movie. They've literally have movies now they could stick comic book advertisements in front of. But yeah, they've always been bad about advertising.
Yeah. Oh, Ratbike said Ratbike, you said your 7-Eleven sells them. Are they the digest, or they actually got the comic books on the stands? I'm guessing you're talking the digests. The stories, these are painful disappointments because they can be compelling characters if their stories don't suck, like for Kamala Khan and things. Yeah, that right. I did a review of the very first few issues of Miss Marvel from the first series, and I really do think it was racist towards white people. I got some people, it gets better, and not all white people are portrayed bad in that book, but the first few issues, I think I read the first 5, every white person was either an idiot or a mean, and mistreated them. I don't know. I just didn't.
Chef Jack just 5-starred the last issue. And
and that's the new series, and it might be better now. I don't know, so I can't comment on that.
He's gotten some comments that people just do not like the fact that he did that because of the SJW, blah, 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 blah. But if you like something, you like something. You got to be honest about it.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be giving a review that might surprise a few people coming up in a few days. I just got it done today and rendered it right before this. So hopefully it'll go out. It was a Gail Simone comic book, so
she can write.
I didn't say it was terrible. Let's put it that way. So
not be a good person, but she can put a couple of words together. So
yeah. It wasn't the best written comic book. It had a couple cringy moments, I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it was a setup issue, and I respect it. I respect what it did. So, you know. Well, I'm not.
I feel
not all
like
evil.
I talk so much. I'm putting Gadd out.
Oh no,
Yeah, Gadd.
dude, you're fine. You're fine.
Have at it.
I was just going to point out that you know, as far as Miss Marvel goes, Eglinton and I were. You remember a couple of weeks ago, man, we were talking to Tom Brevoort, and he was making the point that you know, Miss Marvel can be at her best sort of a story about, you know, working class American folks.
Yeah, the family.
Right, exactly. So, you know, I hadn't really read Miss Marvel before that, and you know, it would be really. So what I did a couple of things. First, I read my kid Squirrel Girl, which was a huge mistake. She hated it. She had this ridiculous. She had the same reaction to the art of it that I did when I was a kid and I saw Keith Giffen artwork for the first time. You know, sort of this visceral, sort of violent. I do not like this reaction. She hated that the girls looked like boys. She hated that their eyeballs were too small and that they wouldn't shut up about how great they are. And this is a 7-year-old. You know, her point. I thought she had one of the most salient points I've ever heard from anybody about Squirrel Girl, and that was that she said, "Dad, you know, girls need to look pretty, especially in comic books."
Right. Exactly. Girls don't want to look at obese, ugly women. I mean, once in a while they're fine with a character like that, but in general, they don't want them ugly. I mean, that's why they play as princesses and love Minnie Mouse and things like that.
Right.
Come on.
Do you have a thing for Minnie Mouse, Captain?
No, my daughter does.
Are you admitting something here?
My daughter does.
No.
My daughter loves Minnie Mouse, so she wears Minnie Mouse dresses and everything else. So.
Well, I'm here in Florida,
so
we get Mickey and
I bet you see that a lot.
We get.
Just so everybody knows, Night Wolf Games just popped in with us too. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey,
how's everybody doing? Hello.
Hello. We won't pick on your age.
Are you sure about that?
Farming.
Oh, you ageist pigs, you.
And 2 seconds in your hit already. I have to tell you guys, Night Wolf is an incredible sport. Last live chat, he took a verbal beating and he took it like a champ.
That is awesome.
I have underwear older than you. They're not mine, but they are older.
How old is this guy?
I'm 33, actually.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, you're a baby. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So most likely you're gonna outlive all of us farts on here, just so you know. So.
Say to the kids this every time I get the "holy crap, you're old" speech. I was there, and you're gonna be here. So don't make fun too hard.
I was playing basketball with little Frugal the other day, and he not the other day, but several days ago, and he called me old man. It's like, oh, come on.
Nice.
Just wait one day, son. That will be you. Yeah. When your son is beating you at basketball.
Exactly.
You know you're old, though, when you make the noise when you stand up.
Yep, I already do that.
I'm not quite there yet.
It gets even worse when you do that when you sit. When you sit, then you're really in trouble.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Old man Frugal. Oh, thanks a lot in the comments.
Well, when you open the doors.
When you don't want to pick up something because it's across the room and you're, no, I'm good. Okay. When you're watching a TV show you don't want to watch because the remote is just out of arm's length. Yeah, we're good.
Exactly.
Does that count when your kid puts it under a couch cushion and you just can't find it?
I couldn't go to work one day. My daughter took my car keys in the trunk of her little roll around motorcycle, and I am tearing the house apart. Cannot find them. End up having to call in 5 o'clock at night. She goes, "Daddy, keys?"
Mine took the credit cards out of my wallet. So, I went to go get gas and I was like, oh crap.
Yeah, we're not making fun of Nightwolf Sage this time. We're just alienating them with kid stories. Yeah. Stories of our children.
Yeah. That's fine. I don't mind it at all.
The word based on the comments, do you think the Squirrel Girl artist is a fan of Lena Dunham? Because evidently they look the same.
That's a good question.
I was just
fans of Lena Dunham?
No idea.
That came from that question somewhat spurred up from the comment section. I can't take credit for it. That was for Fallen Angel 2100. Said the writer of Squirrel Girl. I think
my take on Lena Dunham has to be this. You know how women they look at fashion magazines. Oh, I want to be like that. I want to lose weight. I want to wear this dress. I think Lena Dunham has fans like, this is what I don't want to be. I will follow this bitch till she dies, finding out what not to do. That's my theory on the popularity of Lena Dunham.
I don't know.
While guys watch her going, watch her thinking that dude got big tits.
From what I've seen of that art, all I can think is it's like, who was hired to do this job? That's a pretty much.
And why weren't you?
All right, now Fallen Angel also brought up another question earlier to me, and he just mentioned it again, reminding me that that's a great one for us to talk about and address. He said, "Can you guys consider my conspiracy theory that the 50% of comic readers are females is because the industry is lying and counting manga readers into the numbers?"
Interesting.
Manga readers?
You know, it could be. I know a lot of ladies read that manga stuff, and I'm not into it, and I'm not saying it's bad. I just haven't gotten into it.
Well,
but I know a lot of ladies do.
If you want me to jump in here, considering that I spend a considerable amount of time with the anime and manga communities as well, so let me think. I would say maybe they could use the number to inflate it, but the females that they're referring to that are reading mangas and watching animes aren't really watching a whole lot of action-related or superhero-related style content. That's not what they're doing. They're reading romance, comedy, slice of life stuff.
So like there used to be in the 60s in the States where we had a lot of romance comics and stuff.
Yeah. That's what I think that's what they mainly are reading. I'm not saying that none of them read action-related stuff or anything. But I think a large majority of them are mainly focused on, you know, the manga people. They know who they're targeting when they like design characters and whatnot. So if you watch a show or look at some of the art and it's like, well, that man is not only incredibly effeminate, but incredibly attractive. You probably know who the target audience is. It's for girls, not for boys. It does sometimes seep into, well, let's see. It seeped into some of my favorite stuff too. The Gundam stuff that I watched and have read, at least 2 series had just a slew of young, attractive male protagonists, just like pretty boys. There you go. 5 pretty boys driving around in giant robots shooting things. Gee, I wonder who they were trying to get.
So you found them pretty?
Well, I cannot.
Hey, I gotta tell you, that Korean music, and there have been a couple of times they put on a video, and I'm like, "Who's that chick?" And it's a group of guys.
Yeah,
they're prettier than.
Like anything on MTV in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
you know, conservative nerd.
But didn't the 40% number, like wasn't that just like an arbitrary Facebook survey? Like all of the, oh my God, Spider-Man people just came in and like half of them happened to be girls.
I wouldn't take your statistics off of Facebook, that's for sure.
Yeah. As far as I can tell, there hasn't been anything scientific on it.
No.
Nearest thing I can see to anything scientific is like those codes they put on books, right?
Yeah.
You know, where they get a free digital copy. That would tell you what the male-female percentage is if we had access to those, but we don't. So maybe Marvel's figured it out. Maybe it comes from that.
Yeah.
You know, we mentioned the romance and things, and you said they're not much into action. You know, Conservative Nerd brought up a great point in the comments that well, Marvel hasn't really been much action either going on.
Iron Fist.
You know, it's more talk.
She-Hulk.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, please. The Hulk. Oh my God. I used to love She-Hulk. She was my comic book crush when I was a teenager. The new book is about getting coffee.
Yeah.
That's it.
Where's the Scarlet Witch? That was like Wonder Woman.
Coffee.
That comic book sounds more or less like a slice of life without anything else happening.
Right.
It's just like, I'm going to go get a cup of
how many of
coffee.
us?
I'm going to open my.
How many of us enjoyed Wonder Woman, especially as Linda Carter? Yeah.
Before my time, I'm afraid. I narrowly missed that one.
Okay.
Well, it was before my time.
Yeah, I saw this one.
But reruns.
But
It was in reruns when I was like,
yeah, reruns.
I was the only
Jake the
7-year-old
Trench
hanging around watching the TV show when it was first on.
Oh, I was watching it. So yeah.
Oh, okay, good. You're as old as I am.
Yeah.
We're gonna
watch it
die.
you can't watch it with your parents, right?
Oh well, yeah. Heck, I remember that Battle Beyond the or Battle of the Network Stars where she got out and it was all nipply. That was my introduction to nipples. Yeah. Really.
Jake the Trenchcoat mentioned Miss Marvel and Carol Danvers. I'm gonna have to agree with that. She was drawn amazingly.
Used to be.
Yeah, used to be. Now she looks like a guy. He also, Jake, he also mentioned Terry Hatcher as Lois Lane, and he must be in the Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Yeah. Not Heavenly Creatures, but she gets naked in a movie starring Alec Baldwin, Fire, something like that. Yeah. 1990s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
I used to be a projectionist in the 90s, so I literally saw everything, and people would always ask me that. Do you know if this actress got naked? Yeah, okay, yes I do.
You were the depository of information. So was
At
this
least
one ever?
that.
Yeah, this movie.
I was Mr. Skin before Mr. Skin became a thing. Yes.
That's cool.
A hobby that is not a bad hobby to have.
it's better than hobo porn.
Oh, since we're mentioning skin and things of that nature, have you heard about the actress in Supergirl?
Be specific.
The TV series?
Well,
the lead that's playing Supergirl, whatever her name was, Melissa, I think, or something like that.
I forget her name. That's how much I care.
Supposedly she did pornography or something like that, or some pictures are floating around or something of that nature.
No.
Yeah. What a great way to kill your wholesome image.
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing.
Interesting. We started about marketing and statistics and devolved to nipples.
Guys, this is a sausage fest here. At some point, it's gonna go to nipples.
It is an inevitability. It's bound to happen.
Okay, let's talk about marketing nipples. That's the next stage.
Marketing nipples. Well, Marvel should do that. They need to bring them back. That's part of the problem. Look at the women in Marvel too. They all look like guys now, and everything else.
Conservative Nerd just admitted he's an old fart because he's mentioning Aaron Gray from Buck Rogers.
Whoa.
Wow.
That is
there
old.
we go.
Don't act like you know who that is, Nightwolf.
I do know who Buck Rogers is.
Yeah,
Rogers
she was.
is awesome.
She looked good in that blue jumpsuit there, Nerd. That is definitely true.
I'm not completely versed in all the old stuff, but I do like going back and looking at old stuff. I listen to like radio shows of Lone Ranger and The Shadow and Green Hornet.
Oh, those are so good.
Yeah. And I've watched older TV shows and whatnot. because that's what I grew up with. Let's see. Considering I was born in the mid '80s, and we didn't have cable at my house, I grew up basically just watching nothing but John Wayne films for like over 10 years, and almost nothing else. And maybe Elvis movies, and that was the gist of all my knowledge and information of cinema. Was watching.
Did any of you have those records? I mean, the full size records with like Marvel and DC stories on them.
No, I didn't even know those existed.
And they would come with a book to follow along.
Well, no, the book ones, were they with the records? I know they were with the cassettes, but I don't remember if they were the records.
I had the ones with the cassettes. I remember those.
The Peter Pan record.
I think I remembered a book with records before.
Okay. No, I'm not talking the 45s. I'm talking the full-size records, too. So.
Oh, no, I think I'm thinking of the 45s.
Okay, I actually still have some of those big records. So I don't have them in here, so I can't pull them out. I had the whole some Justice League stuff, Spider-Man, things like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Conservative Nerd, you know those. He said those records were awesome. All right. Showing some age there. So some of the newer people might go, record?
What is record? Actually, some might be even asking, what is cassette?
Rat Bike mentioned the Captain America TV series in the 70s. Yeah, those were pretty awful, unfortunately.
Same with the Spider-Man one.
But when we watched them, they were so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, I thought it was cool.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Because back
watching
then,
them again, it's like, wow.
Yeah, anytime you had a superhero on TV back in the day, it was so cool because you just didn't get that.
Do you remember Legends of the Super Friends?
Yeah.
Legends of the Super Friends.
I remember Super Friends.
Oh, cartoon.
Not the cartoon, but it was a live-action TV show where they had like Hawkman, the Flash, Solomon Grundy. There was some.
I don't recall that one. Never heard of it before.
This. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen this forever and a day. But one black guy comes up, he's dressed like a pimp. He was like Joke Man. He told stupid jokes and then flew away. Did the Flash by having him pose like he's running and then make him disappear. It was horrible bad.
Wow.
Huntress was on it. I remember they did one where it was somebody's birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
I remember.
Look at Legend of the Superheroes or Legends of the Super Friends, something like that.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I've seen the Fantastic Four B movie that was never released. That was pretty.
I have a copy of that.
That was beautiful.
Oddly enough, it's the most faithful Doctor Doom we have ever gotten, and that is the
absolutely.
That's true.
But at least he's in the armor. He's not a freaking crash test dummy.
I have also seen
the Greatest
Justice
American
League
Hero.
Yes, that was awesome.
I used to love that show. I watched that one as a kid religiously every week. I just loved the way he would crash into walls. You know, he was a great superhero because he was totally incompetent as a superhero. His suit came with a manual, and he lost it, and then he never quite figured everything out.
Oh,
and the theme song stuck with you too.
Believe it or not, don't sing it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Conservative Nerd.
It's in your head. You want to.
Yeah, I know.
No, Conservative Nerd. Conservative Nerd said, "Check out the '80s Justice League. It's terrible." I think you mean the pilot episode that didn't get picked up, right?
Yeah, with Cogsworth from Beauty and the Beast.
Martian Manhunter.
Yes, and he had a beer gut.
Yeah. Horrible. Oh my gosh! But the woman who played Fire was pretty hot though.
Yeah,
she was a little tasty treat. But yeah.
Yep, that's the one he was talking about.
Horrible.
Yeah, I have that too, and that was pretty horrible.
Yeah, Ghetto Man. That's right, Conservative Nerd. That was his name, Ghetto Man. He knows what I'm talking about.
Well, this is a great
nerd on here one of these days soon.
Yeah, those TV shows are freaking awesome. This, it's something the kids today, you just don't know how good you have it with all the Marvel movies and the DC movies and the CW shows, how good they are compared to the crap we got in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I remember Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher, thinking that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, go ahead.
Jake the Trenchcoat mentioned Birds of Prey.
I've got that. I actually got a lot of these on DVD.
Yeah, I do too.
I think I saw some of that TV
That's
show.
the only thing I collected in superhero movies and TVs.
Let's see here. DC animated movies. Oh, yeah. I got my female into DC through the animated movies. I stole her away from Marvel. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Converted. I used to be diehard Marvel over DC. And it hurts. It hurts that DC is so much better now.
I was always sort of even keeled, I guess. I enjoyed growing up. My two favorite titles were Spider-Man and Superman. And if you couldn't do anything wrong with either one of those characters, everything was gold in the 90s. We had McFarlane's Spider-Man, which was beautiful. It was just poorly written. McFarlane was a terrible writer, but he was fun.
No business writing.
Yeah.
I remember.
Hey, go around, Frugal. You next. What were your favorite books?
Well, favorite books. Well, I liked some DC too. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's sort of obvious. I was a diehard Captain America fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I loved the Avengers books. So that I get Spider-Man a lot too. So there was a lot of that. Heroes for Hire. Or actually, it was Power Man and Iron Fist. I think it was the title at that time. I liked a lot of that. And on the DC side, I've always liked Green Lantern and The Flash. I tend to like to grab those.
Yeah, those two are good.
Wolf, when you were a teenager.
Yes. What about it?
What were your favorite? What were your favorites?
Comics?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, that's what we're talking about.
Well, let's see. I think I mentioned it the last time I was on, but I'll go through it again. I read a lot of Spider-Man and X-Men. I didn't read.
You guys were Marvel zombies.
I was for the longest time. I would pick up the odd Batman comic or whatever else I could get my hands on every once in a while. I think I remember at a flea market, a friend of mine was selling some of his. He's an older gentleman, and he was selling comics, and he gave me a bunch of Green Arrow comic books that I never read, and I inevitably sold because I don't know why, just wasn't interested. I mean, it had a nice art style. I think it might have been that series called The Longbow Hunter, but I'm not sure. Could have been something else.
That is an awesome series.
But I wasn't interested in whatever it was at that time. I was more interested in reading Spider-Man comics and some X-Men books.
I think DC, right after Crisis, I think DC lost some people because they really did become the literary. They told, I don't want to say deeper. I guess that's a good word for it, deeper stories than Marvel. Marvel seemed to be very surface.
Yeah.
He required some paying attention to. And I think that turned off a lot of kids. It's just, it's like now you want the escapism.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go to DC.
I like the series.
Still doing that. These
I did like a series too, though.
Yeah.
What about the book with Green Arrow and Green Lantern? Was that Brave and the Bold? I think it was.
I think it was just called Green Lantern and Green Arrow.
Could have been.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to double check. I got a bunch of them, but I always like those too because it gave you two different people from two different viewpoints on the stories, and they did it in a good way.
Yeah, I think that title was just those two characters merged together because both books weren't selling at the time, so they just put them together and made it a buddy team-up book instead and tackling social issues.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of social issues at the time. I never read any of them.
Rat Bite Customs brought up a good one.
Very good books, Nightwolf. They're definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
Another good series that tends to go under the radar, Rat Bikes Custom mentioned, is the G.I. Joe comic books.
And the Transformer comic.
Those were great. I used to go out of my way to try to get those. My mom hated G.I. Joe growing up. G.I. Joe and He-Man were two things that were totally verboten in my house as a kid. So I would sort of sneak them, you know.
I remember the complaints about the cartoon was one makes you love guns and one makes you gay. So there you go. You're getting guns, but you're getting
What?
Well,
are you talking He-Man making you gay?
One was war and the other was paganism, and paganism was totally wrong. But you know, we could read Doctor Strange, no problem. But He-Man was an issue.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, Prince Adam was running around in a pink leotard. You know, if we were kids, we didn't care. We thought that it was cool. And then you watch it now, it's like, oh my gosh, what the heck happened?
Yeah.
What were the writers smoking?
Yes.
Oh man, or like that Transformers cartoon, man. You know, when we were a kid, it was epic. You know, when we watch it now and we're like, dude, what the hell?
I still think it's fun.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that way about Super Friends.
Now, as also mentioned in the comments, and I agree, the more recent version when they redid the Masters of the Universe and they did another series on it, that was really good.
Yeah. The
But anyway, with
Thundercats
the
one
G.I.
was
Joe
done
comics,
better too.
the G.I. Joe comics was
Larry
a lot different
was in fact
than the TV. I mean, the TV series of G.I. Joe, they'd run into a battlefield, drop their gun, and punch a guy in the helmet. You know, I was like, what? In the comics, some of them died. You know, people were dying in that thing.
Same for the Transformer title that Marvel was publishing at the time as well. Transformers would die in comic book. Not so much in the show until the movie comes out and kills all of the Generation 1 characters.
Yeah.
Then
that was a cool movie.
Prime for years.
Yeah. So many sad children losing Optimus Prime.
I know it was hard.
That made you care about a cartoon, though. That was pretty awesome. Though I will admit, I liked Rodimus Prime.
Yeah, some people actually hate him. Yeah, his name was Rodimus. A lot of people, there are some who actually despise him because if it wasn't for him, Optimus wouldn't be dead.
Yeah,
true.
If it wasn't for Hot Rod getting in the way of his fight with Megatron, Optimus would not have died. You might have actually won that fight against Megatron.
How about Ultra Magnus going down?
He got his butt kicked, but he survived.
Yeah, tried to get that Matrix open or something, didn't open for him, got blown apart, didn't he?
No, he survived. He survived into season 3 of Transformers. Most of the Generation 1 guys died.
To comment on what Switchpoint just said here, yeah, I heard about the feminists complaining about Harley's 2 butt cracks, but that's bad art.
Yeah.
That was. They had a butt crack, and then the part that should have been flat had a butt crack. That's bad art. They have a point on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They get one.
And Fallen Angel is singing the song from Boogie Nights. You got the power, you got the touch.
Well, that was also in Transformers.
Yeah. Yep, that was the theme song for that movie.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that, guys. That was my, hey, I'm actually going out with a girl. I'm a teenager. I'm not that was that phase. I missed the whole thing.
If it makes you feel any better, I didn't actually watch a lot of the Transformers stuff until I was an adult.
There you go. I never picked it up.
Yeah. I only watched it afterwards. Yeah. There are certain points in time where...
Brother. That's the only time I ever saw it, but nope.
Yeah.
Oh,
You are speaking of things I am ignorant of right now.
Well, speaking of things I'm ignorant of, here's one right now in the comments from Electric 1995. He said, after looking out of curiosity, I came to the discovery that Marvel made a religious superhero called Illuminator. Have you heard about this character?
No shit.
Due to Marvel's terrible marketing, probably not.
Well, there was also the Golem, who was kind of sort of a religious superhero. More, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if he was a hero or a villain. Oh yeah, the Golem was
Daredevil.
cool, man.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a Catholic.
Daredevil's the only one I can think of.
There's a couple. Nightcrawler. There's a couple more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nightcrawler is about Christian. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the
A lot more. I think they wrote him as not much of a Christian, but yeah, he used to be very serious about it.
Yep.
I made a video.
He was one of my favorite characters too.
Matter of fact, speaking of religious and heroes, I made a video of how I would write Daredevil, which nobody watched. So,
how did I not see that? I love those how I would write videos.
Yeah, it was. What I talk about is I think they should double down and go on the sanctification of Daredevil. Really have him go into spirituality and have him get tested on it, and then really have to go the forgiveness route versus justice. So like they're gonna have to build up a character over time that means something to them, sort of like they did before with Elektra, but kill that character off and have him really go through the turmoil of that process and finally have the situation where he could get even, or is he going to turn the other cheek? Just constantly run him through the ringer of trials constantly.
That sounds pretty cool. So, okay, here we go. We're talking to some people. We've got some people listening. Guys, find this video. Share it on Twitter. Get some views for Captain Frugal.
No, I'm not trying to pimp it. I really not. I was like, wow, nobody gave a crap about my views in Daredevil.
I watched it.
I
didn't mean it like that.
Right. If I want my videos to get viewed, I throw SJW in the title.
Yep, that's the best way to get views. If you want the view, type that in. You're guaranteed to get at least 1,000 hits within a few days.
I did it for a long time just because I thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like have absolutely nothing to do with social justice warriors, but social justice warrior, blah, 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 blah.
It gets tedious after a while.
It does. I've stopped doing it.
Well, I throw one in every couple, so that way it's around the other ones, so hopefully somebody will see them.
One can
right
hope.
now, there's been a huge uptick in the turn alt-left in statistics. You might want to try that. I bet you get a lot of views on that.
Give that a shot.
Huh.
Awesome.
Actually, Frugal, if you don't mind my saying something here, based on what I was talking about, getting you some shares, I would like this to be a thing because blocked everybody. I know everybody at Marvel sucks. But, it'd be cool. It would be cool if we were talking like a community and sharing our videos and talking about comic books and not just Dan Slott's just not that interesting, guys.
No,
it's not. I would rather hear what you guys have to say about the books that you guys are putting out. And I would like to, I love the fact that, I don't know how I found him, but what's his name? Just Some Guy?
Yeah.
Okay, somebody pointed him out to me. Another guy, somebody pointed him out, and I started watching his videos. And I think that it would be so much better for the community than let's just complain about Heather Antos and her milkshake, which is not that great.
Yeah,
flat
it gets old,
right? But just to be open and honest, we do those SJW videos and stuff because that brings in the views.
Yes.
I mean, if I didn't do that, I probably wouldn't have half my subscribers, and so then the videos I want them to see, like my Robin video that I really like,
subscribers from that.
Right. If otherwise,
to be honest,
my video, like my Robin video and stuff that I did, no one would probably watch. So,
I think that the one thing from my channel that's surprising is that the two videos that I have up that I can think of, at least two of them got a lot of views, but neither of them had SJW in the title at all. And one was about Dan Slott, but that was me going on a tirade about him. And then it was just talking about the problem with the Spider-Man comic in general and how morally bankrupt the character had become over time, over the last
Dan Slott will get you views too.
Yeah,
having Dan Slott in your title gets views.
No doubt about that.
Something else you can do is trending topics. So if there's a topic that people are talking about in the newspapers or the media, if you can figure out a way to relate that to your topic, those are going to get more views than anything else. And you can see those on Twitter and YouTube and other places. What the topics are. It just means you got to produce your videos faster.
Well, when watching guys like Captain Frugal and Englentine and everybody else, it's like that's where I normally find out about these things, because normally it's like I'm not gonna go look at Bleeding Cool very often or CRB or anything. It's like, I don't really want to know. Well, I want to know, but I don't want to read about it and have them kissing their ass. It gets old after a while.
Every Saturday and Sunday, I go through all of them and find out stories I want to talk about. And sometimes they go by so quick, it's not worth it.
Yeah. I know there was that Ethan Van Sciver related stuff. I was like, I could talk about that because I think he's a good artist and he deserves to not be called a Nazi and things of that nature.
That got demonetized, by the way.
Especially
doesn't surprise me.
He hasn't done anything wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's one of the better artists that DC has. I mean, he was behind Flashpoint, right? But wasn't that his?
I'm not sure.
And he does a lot of just really decent stuff. And DC's been on top of this lately. I mean, in terms of content, man, nobody is topping DC. Just watch Englantine's videos on the subject. It's amazing.
Oh, I agree.
They have done very well.
I read a lot of the DC books currently. It's the only comic books that I want to read right now.
We read both sides, and DC. Yeah. It's really funny how me and Jack do these Marvel versus DC videos because I talk to him, and we both approach it the same way. We read first, obviously, but the DC we're like, yeah, I want to read this. Yeah, okay. And the Marvel books we're like, yeah, I got to read this.
It's obligation at this point.
Ratbike just gave me an idea that would probably get me 1 million views. He said I have to run over Dan Slott with the bat bike when he brings it. So
that would work, man.
Ooh.
It would.
Running somebody on a video right now would be the best course.
No, it probably wouldn't be.
Go that far. If you could get the bike or drive around in front of Marvel headquarters, man, put that in a video. Don't even hit anybody, and you're good to go.
Especially with a Captain America, you'll be nailed a Nazi very, very quickly for running anybody down in a Captain America helmet right now.
Yeah, that's true. That would go over very bad. I do look forward to doing that. That was the video I was going to do last weekend, but we had an issue we couldn't get together. I can't wait for him to bring that bike over. We're going to have a blast.
Has anybody been following Diversity's Rebirth? Fallen Angel wants to know.
I have, and it's awesome. I like especially the Victor Bellows Rebirth that he's been doing the radio show. It is classy. He is so good.
I haven't kept up with that very much, sadly. So many.
I have watching for number 4.
I
looked into it.
I don't watch a lot of rewrite videos because that's one of our go-to video series, the rewrites, and I don't want to influenced.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's actually why I didn't watch Frugal's Daredevil, because if Daredevil comes up, I don't want to. Oh yeah, that was a good idea.
Feel free to steal it. Nobody watched it anyway, so go ahead.
You know what? You know what I think is something.
I think I may be the sole person who actually watched it.
We did a video on the one guy. The dude that wrote saying that we were all sucked on any cool news or something. Not at what that wasn't it. Bleeding Cool.
Bleeding Cool. Joe Glass, I think.
Yeah.
That was it. I literally had a video ready to go.
Oh.
I was like, my thought was, I know exactly how this is. I've dropped my America reviews and the views just go up 1,000, 2,000. Then Diversity drops his and it's like, okay, everybody went to him now.
Yep.
Do that to you. So I was like, okay, I'll hold on to this. I'm the one who thought that way. So everybody else had a video of him out there, but
sorry.
I watch all of these. But, man, it does get tiring, watching 4 reviews on the same title, in the space of like 48 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons I like to review some older books
first and then let everybody else's go. Yeah.
Well, you put a lot of production in yours. You really do. You put a lot of production value in there.
I can't stop. I'm sorry. That's the one title I cannot stop doing that for. It's just
no offense to diversity in comics. He does a great video segment.
He's awesome.
By the way, Fallen Angel, if we threw Gabby Rivera off of a building, she would bounce right back up.
Either that or she would rise from the dead.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't have that. No, I love doing those. I love doing those America videos, and yeah, I want that is the one horrible series I hope is never canceled.
So bad, man. It's cringeworthy.
I love how people. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Now working on 2 America-related videos. One is I'm literally going through, wiping out the words and rewriting it.
Nice.
Forever.
Wow.
And
now I haven't.
The other one that's also been taking a while is If I Wrote or America's Dog. Saw issue number 5. He was on the cover in the issue.
Well, to let the cat out of the bag. If anybody here in the live chat, let me know what you think about this. I've been trying to get some of these guys together, like I Love Comics and Nightwolf. We're still working on that, scheduling a time, and then we got to pick the issue. Hopefully, like something like Squirrel Girl or America, and do a live chat reading of it, dramatic reading of it.
Dramatic reading.
Yes, that's what
Oh God.
Yeah, so I'm hoping you're going to get like 3 or 4 of us and do that.
Good. I'll get to be more theatrical than I normally get to be.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I would love to do
like I said, I've got Generations opened up. I was doing that already. If you want to join in, it's right here.
I don't have any comics right now.
Yeah. But yeah, what we'll have to do, Engleteen, is like hit me up with like pick an issue so I can run out to the comic shop and get it.
Oh, it's got to be something bad.
Yeah, it's got to be something really bad.
Unfortunately, I don't know if my comic book shop will be getting any current books. I think they pissed off Diamond Distribution for some reason.
Ooh.
So they haven't been getting a lot of new books at all. And when I was there last time, actually, all of the boxes for people's orders were empty, including mine. So I don't know what's going on.
Oh, that's not good.
That's too bad.
No. I may if we buy anything, I'll have to probably buy it digitally because it'll be the only way I can get it.
Yeah, might as well. I might have to too because the way there's not much for comic shops about where I work, and I'm an hour drive from work too. So
Yeah.
by the time I get to a store, it's going to be late at night. So I might have to pick one up digitally, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I like digital because the space issue, you can squeeze 1 million digital comics into one tablet and just have them forever. They never age. They never tear. It's wonderful.
Yep. I had one external hard drive, though, die on me, and I lost something like 15,000. Everything on Digital Museum, by the way. Digital Comics Museum, you can get tons of Golden Age. I had everything. Yes, I had everything on one external hard drive, and it blacked out.
Oh. I
have to read.
Why don't you save to the cloud, like Google Drive or Dropbox or something?
Because I'm old and I don't know how to do that.
Oh, it's not hard. Get that done.
Anyone can learn.
Right. I have probably around 10,000 comic books, the actual paper ones, and then on my tablet on little media cards, I probably have about another 4,000. So
nice.
So I'm digging that. Another question came up, and it's a diversity question. I think it's really on point too. From Electric 1995 says, if Marvel Comics wanted to promote diversity, then why didn't they utilize the characters that already existed, like Firebird, Misty Knight, or Monica Rambeau? And I agree 100%. I mean, Monica Rambeau was Captain Marvel, for crying out loud, and you just sort of we're going to take that away from you.
None of it's actually about diversity. It's not about diversity. Right. It's about attention.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yep, it was about that, and it got shock value to generate temporary sales.
They like to break the internet. In quotations.
Here's our character, Misty
Good
Knight.
quote.
Does not get headlines that here's our black Captain America, here's our woman Captain Marvel, here's our Asian Hulk gets.
Yeah.
Night Thrasher got
Remember
mentioned
Night
here.
Thrasher, man. He was a great character. Is a great character.
Right.
I think
I
they killed him.
agree with you. What was his name? There's somebody on Twitter on one of those video shares. This guy did this great thing about Marvel ignoring their black characters they already have, and it's disgusting.
I think I saw that last night.
It was really good too.
Fantastic.
Absolutely want to steal this idea and just do my own video about it.
There you go.
should,
Take it.
man.
Run with it.
Go.
Well, guys, it's getting close to 11 o'clock, and I told everybody I was going to wrap this up at 10:30. So I don't mean to cut everybody off. It's been great. Do you guys have any final words you want to add, or?
Just watch everybody's videos here, and if you follow us on Twitter, I put out a tweet that said people share your videos here.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be an under 5,000 subscribed channel. Please give them some love. Let's get the community built up a little bit. We call ourselves a community. Let's do that.
I agree. I'm all about the community. As I said, I don't even run ads on my videos, so I don't give a crap if they don't monetize them anyway, because I sort of don't care.
I do.
YouTube.
This is my only job.
Yeah, for all means,
And
make sure you subscribe to his and give him that ad revenue.
You can give me some too, if you feel like it.
Nightwolf is very good at what he does.
Yes.
Watch yours now, because I don't.
Being random, odd, and never scripting anything.
and
Actually, I do mine too that way. Just some guy is really good at it.
Yeah.
Underground nerd.
Man, there's so much more that I want to cover.
Yeah.
the conservative nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see the community get built up. It's fun talking about how bad Marvel writers and artists are, but we could talk about the comics as well.
Right. And that's one of my goals. I'm trying to do these Google chats, more often. I'm trying to get to the point maybe 2 a month or 1 a week, where we just I throw it up there and we get a bunch of us comic folks and things like that, and games can be in there too. And we just chat and have a good time. Notice the focus is on comics more necessarily than this writer's an idiot today.
Yeah, unfortunately, this writer's an idiot gets thousands of views, and hey, this comic is great gets maybe 100 or 2.
Yeah. But, if we build this community that people want to hear about good comics and things, we can actually get those numbers up. It'll actually have meaning, Yeah.
Hopefully.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, everyone okay? Good?
I think I am.
Okay.
I did my preaching.
Frugal. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it is a pleasure having you. I want to thank you guys for just taking your time to join me. I mean, I'm a nobody, and you guys take your time to talk to me. I really appreciate that. This is
not actually true.
Oh, I appreciate that. I truly do. It's like, wow, I've got all these new nerd friends. And I mean nerd in a positive way here. Because
I always refer to it in a positive light.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I get to nerd out.
Be proud of it. Damn it.
Exactly.
Accept it and embrace it. That's what I do.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
everyone, thank you again for watching, and thank you for participating. We enjoy having you here. We hope that we can do this again sometime sooner than later.
Yeah.
And until next time, keep it frugal.
Bye.
Totally.